Really quick, guys, that's probably why we don't have power in our zone. Welcome back, scallywags. It's not a video I planned on making, but I felt it was a good video that I made, even though I missed about 2 days worth of footage that I could have grabbed. With that being said, most of you are wondering, how did the EcoFlow Delta Pro actually fare out? Like many Floridians, I don't think we really anticipated this much. Sure, Helene was a wake-up call for those on the coast, but overall, I don't really think many people thought it was going to hit and make landfall in the area. It had been over 100 years, or roughly 100 years, since it actually made landfall in the Tampa Bay area, and even then, it still didn't impact Tampa. It hit South Sarasota area, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a difficult time. I know we weren't expecting it to leave the level of devastation that it did, even here in our area. Big oak trees uprooted, streetlights toppled over, fences, roofs, leakages, even in our neighborhood. The power outage that lasted 5 freaking days. I don't think many of us here really anticipated that much devastation. But I know what you guys are thinking. How did the EcoFlow Delta Pro actually fare during HurricaneMilton in a blackout? I know the video isn't going to be so cohesive, and it is going to be a little informative because it is a real world scenario where the ideal conditions weren't always present. So stick around and just watch the video. I'm kind of interested in how other Floridians did. If they did have an electric generator, would be whether it's EcoFlow, who's the other ones? Blue Eddy, Go Zero, Anchor Solix, many others. Let me know what you guys ended up doing. Or even if you went the traditional route with a gas or a propane tank generator. All right, so you guys can see 2 things plugged in. This Honeywell tower is not even too strong. We have it at refresh. I've got a 50-footer. It's a 12 gauge, and that's connected straight into the EcoFlow Delta Pro. The only other thing that's connected to the Delta Pro is our 10-plus-year-old fridge, Whirlpool. And combined, we're pulling in or outputting 178-ish watts. Currently at 86%. I've been trying to charge this sucker all day, but of course, after the storm, you're not going to have clear skies. And spent all day going up from 24 to 91%. Sundown was around 7 o'clock. And already, because it's been cloudy, been drawing that much. Follow up tomorrow. So you guys can hear, we got Jenny's to the right, Jenny's to the left. The sun's about to peek over this house here. So, stand by. Let me grab the panels. So we got a couple of things. Y splitters, so I can connect these in parallel. So you guys can see I've got Bouge RV. These are 10 gauge. Again, I believe I mentioned it yesterday as I was tearing it down, but got the Y splitters. I like connecting them in parallel just in case some shade hits one of these panels. It's not going to affect the total output as it would in series connection. So I'm going to finish up here and then we're going to go get some numbers. So you can see they're about to start peaking over that house and we're going to be good. Okay, so these are the EcoFlow 400 watt portable panels. So you can see I've got two. Hopefully, and I pray that these clouds stay as freaking clear as they are today. Yeah, you see that? Not a single cloud. That's what I'm saying. Hope these clouds stay as clear. Yesterday, Friday, Thursday, cloudy as heck. Wasn't able to fully get 100%. So if it stays this way, it'll be great because I can probably charge a couple more things inside the house. I know our portable battery packs are running low on some of them, so it'd be nice to replenish those. But the sun is about to start hitting. Let me go finish connecting stuff inside the house. All right. It is Sunday. We're entering the 4th day. Currently, you guys can see we're using 27 watts, and that's only the fan. So I believe we were hitting about 170 watts. That's only when the fridge kicks in. So let's go ahead and start setting up the panels. Okay, so once again, fan and the fridge are the only two things connected. It is now 8:11 Sunday, so we're well over 12 hours since I originally posted or started documenting this, and it was like at 87%. So not too bad. Right now the fan is the only thing drawing power, and it looks like the fridge is finally kicking on. That's also weird. I've never seen the fridge kick on and it starts drawing about 500-600 watts. If anybody knows what that is, please leave me a comment and we can go from there. Again, I know that our fridge is well over 10 years because this house is 10 years. And being a builder grade appliance, we know it wasn't that year's model. So it's probably overstock from a couple years before then. So you guys can see here, input, nothing's coming in because I haven't connected that stuff. Total, it's because of this fan. It's about 33, fluctuates. I've seen it get as high as 40. And right now we're at 40%, 23 hours left. And that number usually fluctuates based off of the fridge kicking on. So let's see what we get once we connect this in. And you see the little icon here, turn on to indicate solar panels are plugged in. Let's go look to see if we actually have the sun touching any of the panels. All right. They're starting to just kiss them, I guess. But you guys can see and probably hear the Jennies all around. Walking through the backyard, it's a lot louder. There's a lot more homes back there that have been running at the moment the first power outage hit, and it wasn't even a permanent one. But let's go look to see if we've got anything in the EcoFlow app. Not app, but the EcoFlow display system. And I want to talk about the app later.
Come on. Come on.
All right, so with the sun just kissing at one corner, we're pulling in just under 50 watts, but now you guys can see that the fridge and the fan are both actively working, and that dropped from 23 hours to 8 hours at its current use. But that's always contingent upon the actual continuing use of or load. And I'll come back later on once the sun is fully hitting and give you guys real peak numbers. All right, here we are. Sun hitting on full force. It is 8:32 in the morning, so it didn't take too long for the sun to make a peak over that. And I want to talk really quickly about how I monitor the levels of this. And the best way is with the iOS products, aka iPhone, iPads. And the reason why I say that is because I have a horrendous time with our Android phones, whether it's mine or my wife's, to stay connected longer than a few seconds. So I don't know if there was a firmware update ahead of time on the unit itself. I didn't even realize you can do firmware updates on the unit itself, but I did update the app prior to us using it. But all in all, the EcoFlow app runs flawless on iOS versus Android. And this is how I monitor the app or the EcoFlow. And as you guys can see, it's a Delta Pro. If you go back, input right now, it's not too great given that I have two 400 watt panels connected in parallel. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but a little bit of shadow towards the bottom of the panels because of the grass causing on it. If we were connecting them in series, shadows such as those would completely deplete the input, the total input. Any kind of shadow while connected in series will diminish the input amount. So that's why putting it in parallel or connecting them in parallel is much better. So, and as you guys can see, total output right now with the fan and the fridge going on, I like that you can connect, or not connect, but control the AC outlets just by pressing the power button there. You can also just press this little section here, X boost, to activate X boost from here as well. Click on the input, gives you like this little bar graph. I just kind of wish it'd give you a history of the last 24 hours, last 48 hours, 7 days, something. So you can kind of gauge overall what your average input is, especially for days like we've had here in this blackout. It would be so much better, a lot more beneficial for your consumer to be able to track, hey, on a cloudy day like yesterday, our average input was 250 watts, something, but this thing doesn't go anywhere. You can click here, click up here, and it doesn't do much. What it does do is tell you the current percentage down to the decimal, the temperature of the unit, and at the current rate of intake or input and output of the unit. It gives you an approximate total recharge time. So outside of that, guys, that's really how the app works. There's so many other features in it. You can probably find better videos on, but I'll check back later as I have to reposition the panels and give you guys another update. All right, next update. Repositioned the panels and have started charging these two battery packs. Previously charged another one that uses quick charge up to 140 watts. So that took only 8 minutes, and started using these to replenish. But when the fridge isn't kicked on, it's averaging 80 something watts of out. So don't pay attention to this number here too much, because obviously, as I mentioned before, the fridge isn't constantly running. It goes idle and it's no longer requiring any juice. But this one here is such an old battery bank. I might just disconnect it because it's been almost 2 hours and it only takes in 9 watts at a time. So this thing is probably just useless in taking up potential replenishing. This one's been good. As you guys can see, it's working on the second one already. 45 watt input maximum for that other Anchor one, and the other one that does take 140 watt max input is also an Anchor one. But we did increase the intake or the input of the solar panels. So I've already readjusted them for the sun as it continues to shift, and hopefully we can get up into the high 5s, low 6s like I have in the past on days like this. I will give you guys another update sometime around noon when the sun is at its peak. Till then. All right, so I just repositioned the panels. They're no longer there, and I wanted to try something. So you guys can see we're getting a good 530 or so, fluctuates. But I also reconnected them in series simply because where I have them now, there aren't any trees that can potentially interfere with the efficiency of the panels. Whereas here, our oak tree was just casting, or will be casting, a huge shadow as we go. Another thing I want to do is hose these bad boys down and see if that helps with the efficiency of it. I know that running some water over them or cooling down the panels does have a positive result on them. I just want to see how much more we can get, given that right now, get out of the sun for you guys, we're coming in at 5:20, 5:30ish or so. So give me a second, turn on the hose, and I'll be right back. All right, hose, got it to the flat. Don't freak out, guys. These are weatherproof to an extent. I'm gonna just give them a light spray just to kind of cool them down for a bit. this is hopefully informative for some of you that are affected still by Hurricane Milton. Without power, I think there's still 2+ million people out of power. So all right, it's jumped. So you guys can see here, previously fluctuating between 525 and 530, I believe, and now we're getting a good solid 30 to 40 ish. So let me keep spraying them down for a bit, and I'll come back to give you guys an update. Okay, so I was cooling down or wetting the panels for about a good 5 minutes or so, but you notice it dropped to 69 watts, and that's because these fucking hoe bags have allowed clouds to come back in. As you guys saw early in the morning, there was not a cloud to be seen for freaking miles. And I wish I would have done a video from my backyard, because our neighborhood kind of does go on a downhill, and you can see even further, there was no clouds to be seen for miles. And now this bugger is fucking up my plans on efficiency. On a side note, anybody else have a severe red ant problem like we do? I did not know this was an issue here in Florida. If you guys do and have watched the video this far, please give me some tips. Oh look, it's moving, and now the panels are cooled. I've been using the flat sprayer on it, and let's see what we're getting. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I think in the interim, on days like today where there's hardly any skies, any skies, what a goof, any clouds, I think it's efficient, if you can and are running something similar to me, to spray them down at least once an hour, perhaps, for about 5 minutes, just like on a mist or a flat nozzle, spray nozzle, and it seems to be working very effectively. We're at a 600 plus, so all right, good news. Even with all the excess charging of the battery banks that we did today, the cloudiness bullshit that showed up out of nowhere. All right, look at that. Fridge is not being used, the fan isn't either, but we officially hit 100% for the first time since Hurricane Milton took out our power Wednesday night. So we're pretty happy about it, and it's still nice and bright outside. Some of the clouds are clearing up, but we're just gonna keep it plugged in. I guess at this point we're gonna charge up some more stuff that are really needing it and turn the fan back on, because it's getting hot as balls out here, so we need it. I'll check back with you guys tomorrow and we'll go from there. All right, so what do you guys think? Interesting, right? I didn't think we were going to make it at some points, given the cloudiness. Even now, it's just full on clouds. And actually, I don't show it in the video, but I believe it was Friday. It was just really cloudy and I was going nowhere with the charge time. And thankfully, we had a friend about 2.5 miles or so that had their power back, and they were generous enough to give us some time at their place to recharge this bad boy to 100% capacity. And that helped us out. I'm not gonna lie, it helped us out. There are a couple things I would do differently, and most importantly, I would like to get the new smart generator dual fuel EcoFlow that has the 36 watt-hour capacity equivalent. It takes propane and fuel, not natural gas, fuel. Simply because I can easily connect that stuff straight into this bad boy and have it recharge whenever this is depleting. You can always set the levels and all that stuff in the app. So EcoFlow, if you're watching this, I would like to have the new generation of your smart generator dual fuel system that you guys have to give it a test. And if you want to send extra batteries or the new Delta Pro 3, I'm not going to turn that down either. I'm just saying, EcoFlow, if you're watching it, help me out. Help our little family out. Until next time, guys, thank you guys for watching. Hit that like, subscribe, and comment down below. See you later, scallywags.